Dear Dhamma friends, we are going to have another question and answer session. As usual, we'll start with already written questions and we'll invite to Vincent to present questions already available.
Venerable Bhante, you recently said something along the lines of that the Buddha had said that whenever someone gets close to you, it is for some gain. You also read out a Pali stanza about it.
Please repeat from the beginning.
You recently said something along the lines of that the Buddha had said that whenever someone gets close to you, it is for some gain. You also read out a Pali stanza about it. 1. Can't there be genuine friendship or associations in the world without expecting anything in return? 2. Could Bhante kindly repeat that Pali stanza? 3. Where could we find that stanza in the Pali canon for further reading? Your answers would be much appreciated.
This is in Sutta Nipata, Kaggavisana Sutta, the last poem, number 29 maybe. It's a Sutta Nipata full of stanzas. It's the 39th one or last one in the Kaggavisana Sutta. Bhajanti sevanti cha karanatta nikkarana dullabha ajjamitta atthatta panya asuchi manussa eko chare Kaggavisana kappo. Bhajanti sevanti cha karanatta. Anyone associate another one for gain, for a reason. Nikkarana dullabha ajjamitta. There is no one, or it's very rare to find a person doing for the sake of doing, without expecting that return. Atthatta panya asuchi manussa. Anyone who is expecting something is utter shit. It's a very, very, how do you call it? Some people are telling that not to use these terms. But the Buddha is atthatta panya asuchi manussa. Asuchi means asuchi. Anything you do to gain, that is just shit. Eko chare visana kappo. Therefore, leave you alone. Any association means there's an agenda. So question is asking whether there be. The Buddha is such a person. That's why people do not like Buddha. They keep Buddha statue only, do all what they want. They never follow the Buddha. The Buddha is teaching, don't do with any expectation, no gain and no supply and demand theory. Just do for the sake of doing, and then it is nonsense for the economic world, but that is the way it is happening. So if you find such a person, you may already see him completely deprived of the social status. He is being discarded. He is being outcasted. It is a nonsense to the world. Only the people chasing behind gain. So it is atthatta panya. Attha means artha sastra. Artha sastra means economics. Money. Rupees. Pounds. Dollars. Atthatta panya, everyone is thinking in terms of gain, of money. Asuchi. I am not going to interpret asuchi. Asuchi is asuchi. Manusa. So therefore see people doing for the sake of doing, and they are the people we put into the asylum and says they are mad. These people are not belongs to the world. They put into the asylum. So lucky enough, Buddha is not being sent to the asylum, not being killed. All the other religious masters being killed. The Socrates, Mahatma Gandhi, and I can do a whole list. They have been destined to kill because they are doing for the sake of doing. People can't tolerate them. So, bad question to start with.
Dear Bhante, I have heard that some of the most deep suttas in the Pali Canon are in the Sutta Nipata. 1. Is this true? 2. What literature and books would you recommend for studying the Sutta Nipata?
To study the Sutta Nipata, you have to study the Sutta Nipata. So it is a language, is an archive language. So it's a gist of everything. Reduce the number of words to the last minimum. So therefore, word meaning also decline to the Nipata means to the utmost. There's further no declination, undeclinable. and two terms come together, give a completely different context. If you misread, the complete version is misread. So therefore you have to see the whole context. With that only you can think about what is the meaning of these two terms, why it is come together. So therefore it has become most philosophical part in the Parayana Vagga, Attaka Vagga, two chapters in the Sutta Nipata. When it has been translated to English, there are 8 versions maybe for the moment. Different people give different interpretation. No one can prove it or deny it because of the archaic language you use it. So it has been highly appreciated in the Western philosophy. Not that they are mastering it, but they think the knowledge has been crystallized. Knowledge has been put in, it's a theory of knowledge in the sense, put in such a way, otherwise very difficult to carry through these 2,600 years. It has been such a, put into a crystallized form and given. So Sutta Nipata come in the Khuddaka Nikaya, it's as a sundry item. So it is without other suttas, other presentation, other contextual meaning, other language, very difficult to you to go into the Sutta Nipata. But even then, some people just by heart it. They just the stanzas. So when I was doing my job, my door also I fixed. This or not, I fix it because at that time I was behind money. So it is little antagonistic to my philosophy at that time. So I wrote the Bhajanti Devanti Chakaranatta Nikkarana Durlabha Jamitta. No, this is about Amantana Hoti Sahaya Majje Kamane Nisinne Tane Nipajjaya Anabhichitan Seritam Pekhamano Ekochare Kagga Visana Kakpo. Whenever you are in the society, all the time invitations. Shall you do this? Shall you do that? While you are sitting, they come and invite you. While you are walking, they can come and invite you. While you are sleeping, they come and invite you. While you are stand alone, they can come and invite you. That is the way social life. Anabhijjitan seritam pekkamano, not to deny, not to disappoint others, and expecting my solitude, I wish to live like a horn of a rhinoceros, all alone. So social life is a hacking. All the time hacking. So these terms, so when I put in my door, everyone come and say, your horn will be 2 in time to come. Everyone expecting my rhinoceros horn to be 2 horns. I manage hard and fast not to become. Just to maintain it, it's very difficult. Very difficult to keep the horn single, unicorn. So likewise, there's so much of things. So start somewhere. So if the last part of the question is asked where to start the Sutta Pitaka, I would say Majjhima Nikaya. That's a very good part. Start with that and then you will understand who the Buddha is, what is the meaning of a language, what the nonsense we are learning from age 6 to 30 years, it's utter muck when compared to the Sutta Pitaka. And it's also very colossal, very difficult to read it. So get the Majjhima Nikaya. And once that is given, there some stories are there, facts are there, directly about meditative life. Then you can spread to the, if you need elaboration, go to the Digha Nikaya. And Samyutta Nikaya, Anguttara Nikaya is the body. Once that finish, you go to the Khuddaka Nikaya. That's all. Sutta Nipata and other things are there. But it's a task. It's a kind of a lifelong experiment, lifelong studying. But it's worth when compared to this all the nonsense, library full of books, utter nonsense they are talking when compared to the colossal knowledge, but not right reserved. Free. Any person can read.
Venerable Bhante, today during my sitting meditation, as I was watching the breath, it eventually became a flux near my nose and upper lip. The attention then moved to the rising and falling, and that also turned to flux. Eventually, the person watching thus was moving out of the body and saw the entire body in flux. The watcher moved into bird's eye view position within the room and saw everything in a flux. The observer heard a noise, and even that turned into a flux, and eventually the person watching dissolved into space. Please can you explain this experience in context to the Chula Sunnatha Sutta?
It is in the commentarial way it says, Jnatancha jnanancha ubopi vipassati. Whenever you isolated one piece, one dot, something like breath or something like that, and plunge into that, and when they are going to pieces, don't get worried, just adhere to that, and then slowly you see secondary objects also undergoing the same fate. Whenever it comes, when and where you are concentrated, everything go into pieces, and then whole body, and then the whole room. And you don't know, while it is happening, your mind also undergoing the same. Jnata means what you observe, jnana means the observer. When and where observed going into pieces means the observer also going into piece. But the observer can't comprehend it, what is happening. That's why observer feel giddy. That's why observer feel monotonous. That's why observer feel sleepy. That's why observer feel doubtful, uncertain, fearful, and nauseatic. So when it is happening, still maintaining that the same trend is the most difficult task on the earth. We become completely bewildered, and we try our best to stop the process and come back to our idiotness, our foolishness. But we should have so much of faith just to let it happen. So much of precepts to say this going into pieces is not due to my lack of sila, not due to lack of my morality, but that is a way. That kind of a morality you must have. And must have a mindfulness, whatever the dissolution with the object or the observer, mindfulness is intact. That's the miraculous thing. So you have to have a complete trust on the mindfulness. And from that point you can see whenever Udyabbe Jnana, that is called usually in the, not in this particular sutta, in the Visuddhimagga and other places, whenever goes pieces, they never fall apart. They are just going into pieces, that is the way. When it's happening, then onward, male, female, not available. Observer, observer, not available. Good, bad, not available. So our mind, rational mind, some or the other, try to put good and the bad into that. Or Dhamma, Dhamma into that. Just, injust into that. Gain and lost into that. No, not possible. So you feel nauseatic because they are not answering in that way. But if you go open-minded, meditation itself is not taking so much of time. The Buddha says it's maximum 7 years, or maybe within 7 days it happens. But the resistance within, the hindering, the phobia within is the what you call misperception. So it has to remove slowly, otherwise you go mad. Simply you go mad. Because you can't believe the eyes. You can't believe what is happening. So let it happen slowly, slowly. It happens when and where Dhatu Manasikara are going to compromise with space. When the Patavi Dhatu going to become particles and they start cosmic dance, and you find whatever the thousands of particles they are not hitting each other, and within the space disappearance and appearance happen, it is never hitting each other. So your mind one day comprehend there should have a space and time between two events, and two events one after the other, and two events side by side. When that happens, when you are prepared, that preparation means your mind evolved. Your normal mind never, the concrete mind never allow that to happen, because you feel a bankruptcy. You feel like a shattering off of a glass mentioned, or washing off of a sand castle. So when it's happening, to observe it, I think it's more adventurous than observing the Nibbana. It is the most difficult thing. So when it is happening, if you are in a retreat, you are lucky. When it's happening, you are with the other meditators, you are lucky. If it's happening, you go prepared, you are lucky. If when you go, you are armed with the theory and the deductive knowledge, your co-practitioners are lucky. You can share with them. Without that also it can happen. So it has to happen 1001 times. While it is happening, refurbish or reconfirm your morality. Increase the morality as much as possible, higher sila. And then give as much as possible theoretical understanding, even though it is not fitting into this experience. And discuss in the question and answer or discussion, so you can understand how others are talking about the same phenomena. And practice further and further, 1001 times. And the last, don't be conceited. Don't think that I am the person who understands. Keep it aside. That is the wisdom you must keep. Otherwise, that very understanding still can give conceit, so that your innocence will be running off. You have to keep the innocence all the time, down to earth, and that is the panya. And when that happens, you see it is unhindered way it is going on. So in Chula Sutta, when the materiality, the Patavi Dhatu, Amanasikaritva Patavi Dhatu, going into Akasanan Chayatana, is the junction mentioned. This is not the Kamatanha. Bhavatanha gives rise to the Vibhavatanha. Again, Vibhavatanha can name to the Bhavatanha. Bhavatanha means matter. Vibhavatanha is space. In this context, they exchange each other, reciprocal each other. At a time you go to space, from the space you can see the matter. And you can take the stand of the matter and see from the matters the space. And ultimately you can't find difference between, unless otherwise your mind play the game of sectarianism. Whenever you are ready to see they are two sides of the same coin, you don't feel in and out. You feel you lost. Your boundaries lost. Vatakotu bami nati, muraka wal nati, apema apeloa. So you can go back to the source, and no problem, no tension, no frustration. You can be just a childlike. But if you don't go prepared, by the time if you are too old, too achieved in the society, too much conceited, then it's a bankruptcy. The whole accumulated things go to zero, multiplied by zero. So many of those who achieved people are frightening to lose everything. But they are going to pieces, as Mark Epstein going to say, but never falling apart. Don't worry. They are just going into pieces, again come into shape. So therefore when it's going into pieces, observing it is unhuman. Very difficult. Because we are always recognize it our achievement. Fame, gain and kind of thing. So everything become at a time zero. Again they come and reshape. So that's what it happens. Maybe some other interpretations also. This is rather parallel with this matter go into pieces, and in between you try to see space, and after a while everything is space, matter become only less than 5% of the space. That kind of a stage you can achieve only whenever you reach up to that mindfulness.
Venerable Bhante, a couple of days ago during my sitting meditation, I remained in the space for some time. I had no feeling of space or time. After some time in the space, my concentration got even more focused in that space. So much so, it felt as if my head was in a vise, and my entire body was solid and felt immovable. I remained like that and I experienced even more subtle place open up within the space. I completely surrendered to this moment and felt that I had to remain completely free of anything to move forward. As I entered that space, I realized the only thing I had left was the mindfulness that I had been holding and protecting all this time. Eventually, once I let go of that too, I had a feeling that I could only describe as what death must feel like. The feeling can only be described in Sinhala, Pus Gatiya. Please, can you provide an explanation on this experience?
So this is very difficult to put the term within the experience, because experience is something human. This is the point where that the human nature of the experience is dissolving. This is what you call the you are tit to tat with time. Now it's a matter of time. If you can keep longer, more maturity, without putting any additives, without any unalloyed, keep it. So that means you are not the experiencer, you become a distant observer. So therefore you can't write that I experienced, you can say I became a witness. So therefore every language become active voice to passive voice, things are happening. And even though it is no active participation, it is the highest contentment in the life. It's the highest peace of life. Peace of mind, and the highest happiness in the life. When it happens, you have nothing. Anything you have, your happiness is partial. When you have nothing, fully contented, fully peaceful, fully happy, so it is some kind of ambiguity is there. So you are slowly giving up the gross things, and when it come into this is also of course not the absolute clarity, but this is the way it is going into or entering into voidness, or entering into the emptiness happening. So each time you go further, you feel like it's a completely new dimension. But when you are familiarized, then again you find some traces, and you feel like jumping further. When you go there, you again appear like rejuvenated, evolved, but again you find after a while, when the time passes, there are tiny particles always. So you keep on going up to the Samma Sambuddha, or the full omniscient knowledge you can go. Only your hindrance, your coverage or blockage happen due to the matter which is playing. So you must understand not to concern, not to worry about them, just to keep in between the comfort area, the comfort zone, and the least frictional path. Don't even complain about what is available. But understand, they are not a gain, it's utter block, utter friction. But no absolute purity. So therefore, you have to appreciate them, be with them just to get the orientation. But don't try to recognize with them. But you have to go further and further. Each time you go, you feel like born again. That is called born again Buddhism, not the born again Christianity. Born again Buddhism, that is the common term is rejuvenation. Each time you are newly born with new values and new value system, likings and disliking, and you are not adhering that, because you know the last one also I was recognizing with being me, myself, but now I gave up already. Now I am in a new area. That also for the moment I use as a norm, but definitely when the other time matures, I am ready to give that also. So it is idam nisa idam pachata. You replace this with still subtler one. And that also for a while, after a while become gross, and you feel a still subtle one. And No, not necessary to have any formula. It is now gathering the momentum. So therefore, what we are talking, very difficult to solidify. Very difficult to say, you are here, I am here. Like, this is such a subtle area. But anyway, you feel the release. You feel the comfort and least friction with respect to the friction you experience in the day-to-day life. So therefore your bad trauma, suffering, stress, it's a big value. That is why this become a gain. So therefore don't lose them. Don't consider this as a lost. Don't consider this as a mishap or unlucky situation. With respect to now see, just like a bird with newly feathered wings, enormous space, you can jump into the air and fly as you like. And it is, again, I am telling, it's a matter of time. More you give time to mature, enormous amount of knowledge, enormous amount of skillfulness, and enormous amount of contentment, which is not measurable. So, that is why the Buddha says, come and see. Not limited to any creed or any type. But anyone believing Buddha, he says, Ehipassiko, come and see. When more and more you go there, you feel the teaching of the Buddha.
Bhante, now we are left with 3 questions, 2 in English and 1 in Sinhala. 2 English ones are, one about Nibbana, what Nibbana is, other one is about rebirth or reincarnation.
So Nibbana, see the end of the breath.
Shall I ask the question?
I thought you asked already.
No, I am asking your permission to ask it.
No, it is you have to decide before coming to this seat. We are not in the court, we are going to decide which is to take and which is not to take.
Bhante, could you please explain what exactly is Nibbana?
Nibbana is at the end of the out-breath. See, that's the Nibbana. Let me see how far did you see, then I can tell the balance. Without telling your experience, asking is, it is Andi. Andi haddenai kandahaliya wage. You don't contribute, you always gain. You gain only hot water only. If everyone is not contributing. So, please in your meditation report, give me your experience, then only I can make a substantial or practical or down-to-earth answer. Otherwise, this is not merely a aim of our retreat. Our retreat is to understand mindfulness. And this is asking utterly theoretical question. Now we are on 10th day. Even then, this childish game. Even then, this childish game. Sorry. Don't ask. Anyone is asking, please give your experience. What is your primary yoga? How far you have seen Nibbana? And I will, if I am capable, I can tell furtherance. And even the Buddha can't answer this. You wait and see the next Buddha Maitreya, go and ask. No answer. Don't waste time.